Welcome to The Explainer. Let's just jump right in because today we are unpacking a truly fascinating contradiction. We're looking at the hidden reality of experiencing life with extremely high intelligence. Most of us grow up believing that having a high IQ is basically the ultimate advantage, right? Like it's this golden ticket that makes absolutely everything in life smoother, easier, and just wildly more successful. But when we actually dig into the clinical psychology of highly intelligent people, a very different and honestly much more complicated picture emerges. Society kind of just assumes that highly intelligent people effortlessly have all the answers. The myth is that they can just solve problems on the fly and breeze through life without breaking a sweat. But the clinical reality, it's vastly different. Many of these individuals actually spend their entire lives feeling profoundly misunderstood. See, they notice things that others completely miss. They question things that others just blindly accept. And as a result, they often end up feeling totally out of place in ordinary, everyday situations. Part 1. The Curse of Overthinking. When the mind moves faster and deeper. So intelligence isn't just about nailing complex math equations or getting perfect grades. It's really about how your mind processes the world around you. And when your processing speed is turned all the way up to the max, you inevitably run straight into rumination. What is rumination? Well, it's the tendency to think deeply and repeatedly about events. For a highly intelligent person, a passing comment that you or I might forget in 5 minutes can literally get stuck in their mind for days. Imagine a friend simply saying, "I'm fine." Most of us just take that at face value, right? But someone with a high IQ might replay that tiny little interaction on an endless loop. They're searching for hidden meanings, dissecting the tone, imagining endless possibilities, until a totally ordinary relationship feels absolutely exhausting. Which brings us to part 2, the isolation of intelligence. Why being surrounded doesn't mean being connected. Research actually suggests that highly intelligent individuals often feel noticeably less satisfied with frequent social interactions. They are craving depth over surface-level chatter. They want to talk about big ideas, dreams, the meaning of it all. So when the people around them only want to discuss the weather or, the latest celebrity gossip, it leaves the highly intelligent person feeling completely disconnected. They can literally sit through an entire meeting at work, surrounded by a dozen peers, and still feel like they're speaking a language that no one else in the room understands. Part 3. The racing mind and the absolute struggle to turn the brain off. Think about what it's like when you just want to kick back and relax on a weekend. For the highly intelligent, the brain rarely takes a break. Picture this. It's 11 p.m., you're trying to sleep, but your brain is busy replaying old memories. By 1 a.m., you are obsessively planning the future. And by 2 a.m., you are wide awake, actively questioning decisions you made years ago. While everyone else has easily drifted off to sleep, the highly intelligent mind is running a full-blown marathon. This inability to just power down the internal engine is a massive source of burnout. Moving on to part 4, an exhausting superpower, the weight of seeing what others miss. The exact same mind that gives someone a cognitive advantage also makes ordinary life incredibly difficult. It's a classic double-edged sword. High IQ individuals are hyper-aware. They are constantly picking up on micro changes in tone, tiny shifts in body language, and subtle behavior patterns that everyone else completely ignores. They can walk into a room and instantly feel the unspoken tension long before anyone even admits that something is wrong. Now, at work, this means they can predict problems before they even happen, which, sounds like a literal superpower, right? But constantly absorbing all of this invisible data, it makes them suspicious, constantly on edge, and leaves them deeply, deeply mentally exhausted. Part 5. The outsider experience, the true cost of trying to fit in. When you spend your entire life seeing things others don't, overanalyzing every interaction, and craving a depth that is rarely reciprocated, well, you inevitably start to feel like an absolute outsider. And to survive this, a lot of people rely on social masking. That means changing your behavior, hiding your real interests, or holding back your ideas just to gain acceptance and avoid sticking out. A lot of highly intelligent people will spend years just pretending to fit in. They'll act way less curious than they really are. They'll stay quiet in meetings because they are terrified of being misunderstood all over again. It's a tragic paradox, really. The smarter someone becomes, the more they might actually hide their true selves, which ultimately just makes them feel even more alone. Part 6. Reframing your mind. You aren't broken. If you've ever felt that mental exhaustion or that profound sense of being on the outside looking in, it is absolutely crucial to realize that this isn't a flaw in your character. Not at all. It is simply a byproduct of possessing a beautifully complex mind. Like the quote says, having a high IQ isn't a ticket to happiness. It simply means experiencing the world through an entirely different lens. The ability to think deeply, to notice those subtle patterns of human behavior, to plan and process at lightning speed, these are absolute gifts. But they only become a heavy, crushing burden if you try to carry every single thought completely alone while trying to force yourself to fit into rooms where you just don't belong.
So the people who finally find peace are the ones who build a life that actually fits them. To stop the exhaustion, you have to actively manage your cognitive load. So we've put together a guide on managing mental exhaustion using these 5 specific daily habits. First up, scheduled brain dumps. Give your racing mind a physical outlet by writing down every lingering thought right before bed. Get it out of your head. Second, sensory deprivation time. Intentionally carve out 20 minutes a day of total silence just to reset your hyper-aware nervous system. Third, intellectual peer grouping. You need to find at least one space, whether that's online or in person, where you can speak your native complex language without having to mask who you are. Fourth, micropausing. Right before you overanalyze a passing comment, force a 10-second pause to remind yourself that, hey, not everything has a hidden meaning. And fifth, physical grounding. Engage in heavy lifting, running, or something that forces you out of your head and strictly into your physical body. You literally have to curate your environment to match the speed of your mind.
Which leaves us with this final thought. If you've spent your life feeling lonely, overwhelmed, and mentally exhausted because your mind just never seems to slow down, are you broken? Or have you just been thinking differently all along? I'm going to let you sit with that for a second. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.